I've just come across an astounding piece of propaganda. I mean, really, they don't even try anymore, right? The corporate media. They're just telling you what to do. It's not even a debate. There's no investigative journalism. There's no nothing anymore. But I'm going to share this with you and come back with some comments. And of course, before I do, I want to put this up to let everybody know this is 100% educational and non-profit. I shouldn't even have to say that, but the assholes that run Google seem to have a lot of confusion over what constitutes fair use, motherfuckers. Anyways, pardon my language. Let's listen in here to the sock puppets talk about flu vaccinations. Whoa, get a load of this.
Welcome back to The Lead, live from Los Angeles. In national news, in case that guy hacking in line in front of you or the coworker who came to the office looking like an extra from The Walking Dead didn't give you a clue, we have reached the peak of flu season, and in some areas it is hitting hard and spreading fast. 10 children have already died from flu-related illnesses, and according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, more than half the country now reports widespread flu activity. Now, while that's fairly normal for this time of year, in certain parts of Texas and in the Bay Area, overflow tents are being set up to deal with the growing number of flu patients. The flu is also more likely to affect young, healthy adults this time around. That's because the most common strain being spread is H1N1, also known as our old nemesis, the swine flu. Joining me now live from Atlanta is Dr. Ann Shukett. She's the director of the National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases. Doctor, thanks for being here. Wonderful. Do we know why we're seeing more H1N1 cases this season compared to last?
No, it's one of the good questions there is about influenza. The strains change year to year, and this year is a big H1N1 year here in the U.S. In Europe, they're seeing more of H3. But we know that the majority of cases we're seeing are H1N1, and that affects people under 65 more than the elderly. So it's really important for people to know it's not too late to get vaccinated, and we know that people under 65 aren't as likely to get vaccinated as the elderly are.
It's not too late, people. Come on, get in your car, load your family, get your grandparents, get out and get vaccinated.
So remember, it isn't too late to protect yourself against flu this year.
A message for everybody listening right now: get a flu immunization if you have not gotten one already. But
did you hear that? You can't even make this shit up.
It is odd to me and counterintuitive. What makes young, healthy people more susceptible to the H1N1 strain?
There are probably two reasons. One is that the elderly probably were exposed to an H1N1-like strain when they were young, and so they have some natural immunity that has persisted. And then in terms of the other reason is that non-elderly people just aren't as likely to get vaccinated. We're doing better and better with children right now. Each year we're seeing rising rates of children getting vaccinated. Wonderful. It's becoming a norm really for parents to know that getting their kids vaccinated is the right thing to do. But adults, it's a little slower going, and so we're really encouraging people, especially pregnant women, people with chronic medical conditions, the extremely obese. These are groups that can be very hard hit with flu when they get it, and we're seeing a lot of hospitalizations in those populations.
How would somebody know that they have H1N1? Are the symptoms different than other flu strains?
The flu looks like the flu, whichever strain you're getting, and so this isn't something that a person's going to know. We treat the different strains of flu the same way, so if you are developing flu-like symptoms and are pregnant or are elderly or very young or have medical conditions like asthma, you want to check with your doctor because you might need to be treated with antiviral medicines. So flu doesn't look different if it's H1N1 or another strain.
Even with all the warnings about the necessity of getting the flu vaccine, you've already given 2, and I give you as much permission to issue as many as you want.
Yeah, I'll issue one. Please go out, get the flu shots. Everybody, get out there, round your family up, take your neighbors, even if you have to take them at gunpoint. Get out there because they are begging you to go. Go, 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 go. Way to go, CNN.
Or our time is up. People still seem reluctant. They're hesitant. Do you have any idea why that is?
I think there are still a lot of misconceptions about the flu vaccine. You can't get flu from the flu vaccine.
Wonderful.
Flu vaccine won't protect you against everything. Some people think that the stomach bug is a flu. Influenza is very different. It causes fever, cough, sore throat, muscle aches, headache, but not everything that causes a cough or sore throat is influenza. So there are misconceptions about the flu vaccine, and that may be one of the key barriers. It's important for people to know the flu vaccine is safe. It's not perfect in terms of its effectiveness, but it's the best thing you can do to protect yourself from flu and to protect yourself from spreading flu to the people that you love.
And we talked about how 10 children have died from flu-related illnesses. What's your advice for parents out there? How young is too young for a flu vaccine? At what age should they start to get one?
Each one of these deaths is so tragic, and we have already lost 10 children this year from influenza. Only one of those children was vaccinated, so I strongly recommend parents to make sure your children are vaccinated appropriately. We recommend everybody 6 months of age and over get a flu vaccine. It can be a shot or a spray, depending on your age and your medical conditions. And some children under 9 years of age need 2 doses. So if you're a parent and your child already got a flu vaccine, you might want to make sure, check with your doctor or nurse about whether the child needs a second dose during this season.
All right, listen up, folks. Dr. Schuckert knows what she's talking about. Thank you so much, Dr. Schuckert, for coming.
Wow, with news like that, eh? Who needs to go to the movies? I mean, could you be more of a sock puppet than this fucking piece of shit here, this turd, and this lady here? My God. What a load of fucking bullshit. What a fucking load. And it's evil on top of it, right? You might have to get 2. You might have to get 2. Better check. Your kid might actually need 2 shots this winter, this flu season. But no, they say H1N1, H1N1, the swine flu, the evil swine flu. But no, we treat them all the same. In fact, you wouldn't even notice the difference because they're one and the same. All the symptoms, right? Message to everyone, get out and get your flu shot. You know, he said it like 5 times. You know why he's there, right? It's the right thing to do. If you're a pregnant woman, it's the right thing to do, right? Especially if you're pregnant, right? 10 children dead. 10 children. 10 children out of 330 million people in the United States. There's 10 little children that died, eh? You gotta be fucking kidding me. And they're talking about overflow tents. Overflow, because they've got everybody panicked because they're watching the fucking propaganda on the corporate news network here, CNN, and they're scared out of their wits, thinking that they're going to get some swine flu and turn into a giant bat or something. I don't know, fuck. But it's just madness, right? But, you know, the stats, if you look at the stats that are compiled about all these vaccinations, about not even vaccinations, but talking about mortality of measles, mortality of all these different diseases that used to affect scurvy, typhoid, all these things. These are without vaccinations. So like the chances of you getting anything, no widespread vaccination here, are practically 1 in 10 million or something ridiculous. Let's look at this here. Measles mortality, UK, USA. By 2007, the chance of anyone in England and Wales dying of measles, if no one were vaccinated, was less than 1 in 55 million. The chance of being struck by lightning is 30 to 60 times higher. But don't listen to me. Listen to the fucking sock puppets on CNN there that are telling you to get out and get your whole family vaccinated. Get your kids done. Get them done twice. Gotta make sure. You gotta make sure that we get those chemicals in their body and help curb the population for the psychopathic elite banksters who are engineering all this stuff. Right, Bill Gates? Right? You know, there's so much crazy shit. Voices for Vaccines, coordinated by billion-dollar CDC charity, chaired by product liability lawyer. I mean, it's just it's absolute joke, right? When you look into this stuff. Even CBC News here did a thing where they were showing the vaccinations and how they're hugely funded by very nefarious forces. Look at this.
They're some of the most trusted voices in the defense of vaccine safety. The American Academy of Pediatrics, Every Child by Two, and pediatrician Dr. Paul Offit. But CBS News has found these 3 have something more in common.
Polio number 2.
Strong financial ties to the industry whose products they promote and defend. The vaccine industry gives millions to the Academy of Pediatrics for conferences, grants, medical education classes, even help pay to build their headquarters. The totals are kept secret, but public documents reveal bits and pieces. $342,000 was given to the Academy by Wyeth, maker of the pneumococcal vaccine, for a community grant program. $433,000 was contributed to the Academy by Merck, the same year the Academy endorsed Merck's HPV vaccine.
Wonderful.
Another top donor, Sanofi Aventis, maker of 17 vaccines, and a new 5-in-1 combo shot just added to the childhood vaccine schedule last month. Every Child by Two, a group that promotes early immunization for all children, admits the group takes money from the vaccine industry too, but wouldn't tell us how much. A spokesman told us there are simply no conflicts to be unearthed. But guess who has been listed as the group's treasurers? An official from Wyeth and a paid advisor to big pharmaceutical clients. Then there's Dr. Paul Offit, perhaps the most widely quoted defender of vaccine safety. He's gone so far as to say babies can theoretically tolerate, quote, 10,000 vaccines at once. This is how Offit described himself in a previous interview.
I'm the chief of infectious diseases at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and a professor of pediatrics at Penn's Medical School.
Dr. Offit was not willing to be interviewed on this subject, but like others in our investigation, he has strong industry ties. In fact, he's a vaccine industry insider. Dr. Offit holds a $1.5 million research chair at Children's Hospital funded by Merck. He holds the patent on an anti-diarrhea vaccine he developed with Merck, Rototec, which has prevented thousands of hospitalizations in the U.S. And future royalties for the vaccine were just sold for $182 million cash. Dr. Offit's share of vaccine profits, unknown. There's nothing illegal about the possible conflicts of interest, but as one member of
You know, it's such bullshit. And just to take it one step further, let's look at Bayer, one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world, and what they did with their HIV-contaminated vaccinations. Check this out and fucking be scared.
Hi. Thanks for the invitation, Joe. Okay, let's talk about the rat of the week. Why is Bayer Corporation the rat of the week? Internal documents show that after this company positively, absolutely knew that they had a medication that was infected with the AIDS virus, they took the product off the market in the U.S. and then they dumped it in France, Europe, Asia, and Latin America. The medicine's called Factor 8. It was an injection medicine that was used for hemophiliacs, mostly children. Children had been born with an incurable disease. Hold on, Mike. So hold on. So you're telling me that Bayer knew that this drug was infected with the AIDS virus. They yanked it from the market in America, and then they dumped it in markets overseas? They had to figure out a way, Joe, to make a profit on a product that they could not sell in America. So they made a huge profit. They dropped the product in Japan, Spain, and France. By the way, Joe, government officials in France that allowed that to happen actually had to go to prison for it. In America, not one corporate executive for this company has been indicted or even criminally investigated by our Justice Department. Why not? You're telling me that these people that dumped this AIDS-tainted blood in foreign countries, who killed children, have not been taken to task in the United States? It's worse than that. The U.S. government allowed it to happen. The FDA allowed this to happen. And now the government is completely looking the other way. Thousands of innocent hemophiliacs have died from the AIDS virus. And not only they're dying, their family members are dying because they're becoming infected with the disease. This company knew absolutely that they had a problem with the product. They knew that it was infected with AIDS. They dumped it because they wanted to turn this disaster into a profit. Mike, I want to read to you what...
It's just unbelievable, isn't it? Isn't it just fucking astounding how criminal these pharmaceutical corporations are? And how powerful they are? Right? It's just unfucking believable. Here off the Natural News, vaccinated children have up to 500% more disease than unvaccinated children. Right? Suspicions have been confirmed for those wary of vaccinating their children. A recent large study corroborates other independent study surveys comparing unvaccinated children to vaccinated children. They all show that vaccinated children have 2 to 5 times more childhood diseases, illnesses, allergies than unvaccinated children, autism, all these things that are happening. And I'm running out of time here. This is just crazy shit. All right? Don't get yourself vaccinated. Tell everyone you know. Wake up the goddamn sheeple. And enough of this fucking propaganda. CNN is the worst news in the world.